So Mary Carroll asked if we were going to define wealth at the beginning, and we are going to do just a little bit of redefining because we use some words in some unusual ways, because we are trying to change the system, the perspective, the way it all works. So the first thing that you will hear us using in a very unusual way is currency. In normal English parlance with regard to economy and finances, that's used interchangeably with money. For us, monetary currencies are a tiny part of the currency, of the space of currencies. And a little mnemonic device here, think currency. Currencies are the tools that we use to be able to see currents, to see flows on a collective level. It's part of how we can have collective intelligence about flows. So money is obviously one of those things, right? And we have receipts and we have accounts and we have all sorts of things that track the flow that occurred. Because otherwise, if you weren't there when somebody performed the purchase, there's no way for you to know that that is the transaction that happened. So we create these records, sort of like tracks in the snow of the flows that occurred. There's lots of other kinds, and you're going to see us, we're going to talk about some of the other kinds of currencies that we currently create in society, but also hopefully engage all of us in inventing more where they're needed.
So just to underscore, remember, when you hear the word currency, don't think money. Remember, this is a post-monetary jazz ensemble. It's much bigger than money in our usage. We're using this on purpose. We're redefining it. So give us a break on that, huh?
And then wealth. So, wealth actually comes from the same root as wellness. And it's parallel in structure as health. There's actually a word to wheel as there is heal and wealth. And there's some references like in commonweal and commonwealth and that kind of stuff where it still harkens back to that meaning. But we're actually trying to go a little bit further back to the roots of that. Again, not just meaning an accumulation of monetary symbols in a bank account, but the means to be nourished and fulfilled, which is something much greater than some symbols can give you. So how many of you have had a job, have worked for somebody else for pay? Pretty much everybody in the room. Now, I've got a question for you about this. I've got a couple questions. One, did you ever have the experience of having value that you wanted to provide that you weren't really able to through the job? I certainly have. Okay. And how much of the value that is you that your employer have access to for money?
How much?
Little tiny fraction, right? I mean, of your creativity, of your love, of your relationships, of your passions, what you get through a job, what you can buy with money, tiny little part of the picture. This is, oh yeah, sorry, we made it, we have an image for this, right? So here's the little thing of what the job wants from you, and here's more what you've got. And there's this tiny little blip down here of what they can actually access. And the thing that we want you to think about is really that's the way the whole economy works. What we can access through money is like this tiny little blip of the deep wealth that we actually create and can experience together.